a recap about what we talked the last day. And after that, I will ask you to give me your answer about my question. If the funding for your case study is cut off and the program is closed in 2 years, what's the change you will make in your M&E plan? Okay, so let's start by, no, we will back here. We'll talk about just very fast about what we talk. Maybe you missed something. So monitoring and evaluation. Monitoring is a routine process of data collection and measurement. So you gather the data. It is a way that you will gather the data and measure it depend on the progress, okay, toward the program objective. The other thing, it will be happen after you end or you're done from the objective and you evaluate how you done it or how they done it, okay? And you will do mainly a social researches and some other evaluation tools. So then jump to the next one, which is the indicators. Okay, the program framework. So overall, the framework is like the frame of picture. If you can see this picture, there is a frame around this. So framework for the program. So it is a systematic way of management for the program or for the project. Always remember this, let's say the result framework, which is SOIR, and strategies, which is, it is the sub of IR, because we will need it a lot in our next session. And we give examples here. We talk about the basic logical model. As I told you, we will create our own kit. So in the future, you will not need a new kit. Maybe you will update your own kit, which is, I will explain later what is mean of the kit and what we need in the monitoring and evaluation kit. Okay. So, and we mentioned input is your sources. Remember, input is your, let's say, resources like money, equipment, anything that you will need, the human resources, any resources you need as a material resources and as a human resources, we can call them an input. Activities, how you will done your, let's say, small objective, which is the output. And what happened after, let's say, for example, the training after it, you can call it an outcome. What happened after that, after a while, you can call it an intermediate outcome, and impact when it is happened to generally for a big society or a big community, sometimes national or country level, or sometimes a global level. So remember this word. And this is, we make a comparison between USAID, which is, they call it USID. Some people are calling it like that in US, okay? And here we call it USAID. And others like impact, goal, purpose, and specific objective, and output activities and input. This is, we are going fastly. We have these cases, and I ask you for your questions, for your answers, and I will back to it on the final day, because our final day will be mainly on you, not on me. Okay, so exercise, we got that, we got that, we got that. Indicators, we said you must always remember indicators is the, yeah, okay. So indicators, markers that help to measure change by showing progress toward meeting objective. Observable, measurable, and agreed upon. So agreed upon mean that you and the cluster and everyone is agreed about this that indicator. And we said indicators may be mainly qualitative, which is you can measure it by number, and there's other indicator like a quantitative, you can measure it by words. Okay, so type of indicators, there's input, there's an outcome indicators, which is, this will be on the evaluation. Okay, and this one will be on the monitoring. And if I can explain more, if I did not explain it more, so your input is the thing that you will bring to the project, like the vehicles and everything. The process is look like the activities. So monitoring will measure your activities or your main output, but in evaluation, You will measure the outcome. Okay, the people got training, but did they gain a new skills, for example? And you will evaluate that by researching, by interviewing them, depend on what that. So how many people get new skills from, okay, or the people who got trained and got a new skill from the training program, for example. So you will evaluate that. There is a program level, which is depend on your program and the area. There's a country level, and there's a global level, like the people who got infected by COVID-19, for example. This is a global indicator. Or the people who got recovered from, the number of the people who got recovered from the COVID-19, or the CFR rate for the people who got the disease or the COVID-19, for example. This is a global level indicator. We said there is 5 points for your indicator. It should be valid, it should be precise, it should be timely, it should be comparable, it should be reliable, and available, affordable, useful, and constant. I remember we talked about something change. We think, I remember that, but I forget the slide that we said, overall you will create the change. Your project is creating a change. So if we back to M&E plan, M&E plan is a managerial tool that specifies the schedule, resources, responsibilities for your M&E activity, data collection, data quality. So what is M&E plan? If you remember the people who is on the other training, we done the action plan. So in action plan, we put a time for each activity. In your M&E plan, you will say data collection as an activity or an objective. It will be done by the monitoring and evaluation team, for example, and it will be happening from this week to the, let's say, to 10 weeks, for example. Reporting, who you will report, and dissemination and the use of data. What is the use of data? So overall, this is your plan for applying or implementing your M&E plan. Note, the plan should be specified time point when evaluation will be carried out. For example, midterm and end term. Sometimes the evaluation will be on the end term if it is on impact, for example, or an outcome. Outcome impact evaluation is reserved for larger, remember this word. Outcome impact evaluation is reserved for larger, longer term programs that can make impact at public health status level. This is example, but it can make a change. Okay, or sometimes the donor will ask you to do the evaluation. Look, right now my work is I'm doing evaluation for the project. Yani after I was a program manager, country director, and etc. Now I'm doing evaluation for the project. And I think there is not a lot of people in the country doing that with this much of experience, but we was previously bringing people from Sudan, from a lot of places to do the evaluation for the project to see that, let's say, what happened after the project. So they call them, let's say, evaluation consultant. And this will need someone not working only on M&E, someone who worked in a project and in programming, and he know how to measure the outcome or the impact of the project. Okay, your plan should be include activities. Yeah, should. So it should be activities. Activities is the thing that you will do inside the project. Okay, so always the M&E plan is not a big thing like, okay, when you read it as a managerial tool, but it's okay. It is, you can make it like the action plan if you remember it, and you will put a point, 1, 2, 3, 4. Who's responsible, how he will do it, and what he will do, and for example, the time period and the time for the achievement, and when you will start in the project. Remember this word always. Maybe you take it a screen or take a photo for it and keep it in your bucket. For strategic planning for M&E, setting realistic expectation. This is important because we said there is no target called 100%. This is only, let's say, sorry to say that, but the people who doesn't have an experience in project management or program management, they will say, my target is 100%. The people who are didn't read anything or did not have skills about project management or monitoring and evaluation, they will say, my target is 100% or 150% of what is required, which is, this is totally wrong, because there is an, let's say, an error. You should put a 5%, 3%, or 4% for error, because if you remember what we said or what we talked earlier about the project that we put, the food parcel that we will distribute, you remember we cannot distribute everything. It was 200 parcels remaining. So you should keep that in your mind, that nothing called achievement is 100%, especially in bigger programs, because you will have a lot of point. Any one of you who is dealing before with the development program, they know what I'm talking about. When you have a budget of above 1 million or 2 million or $10 million, you know what I'm talking about. It is hard, not hard, impossible to achieve everything 100%. And you spend exactly what you ask for. Okay, because you will have a lot of budget lines to be spent, and you have a time, and you have a planning, and you have a budget owner and budget holder, and there's a reporting maybe mistakes, there is a communication problems, anything will happen inside the project, there is a risk happening in the project. So these type of things will, yeah, 5% is something acceptable. Okay, so my target, for example, if I said I done my research or my assessment and find out there is 5,000 families or household, for example, my target is for this 5,000 people, I will put 98, 95%, 94%, 96%. It's okay, but always keep an error. Always keep an error, for anything will happen. You know, can you tell me what will happen tomorrow in Iraq? No one knows. This is the thing, the important thing you should think about. Yeah, even if you are, I'm working in strategic planning and these type of things, and I'm planning for companies for 3 years, 10 years, and these type of things. But eventually, okay, I'm putting target, putting process, putting everything, even activities. For example, a company, I put them, let's say for one year, every activity or task their staff will do, I put it in a plan. Everything, it is written and with time period and time. But on the end, if we are realistic, there is nothing called 100% target. Okay, sometimes, let's say for example, what happened in Mosul, and we have a lot of people, and when we bring our food, there's a lot of people, more than what we asked for. For example, we got the statistics that we will have 100,000 people who will flee from Mosul, and we provided for those people, let's say 100,000 food parcels, for example. I'm talking about food. We have wash and these type of activities. Okay, but we find out that they are above that number. But on the end, there's also a problem in your staff. For example, it is a joke, or it's something you can call it whatever. The project manager who came, he came by wasta from the donor. I came as a program manager. So when I saw him and find out he don't have any management skills, what he told his staff when he sit with them, okay, this is my first time working as a project manager. هاي أول مرة أشتغل مدير مشروع بيها. So the staff here was surprising by that. So they know that their manager, he don't have any experience. So what he was doing, he was not focusing on the activities. He was focusing on one, how to steal from the project, and how to keep himself as a project manager. Okay. Yeah, you will see a lot of those people. Okay, they're fighting for their positions, but you cannot fight for your position if you have skills for this position. Okay, if there's a lot of things happening, okay, you can fight, but it is not about the position. If you have an influence inside the place, no one can take you out from the position. That's one thing. So what I find out that he was, maybe I said it before 2 lectures, he was bringing water from the river من الشط للناس مباشرة without any clean water, without anything. We are an international organization. Yeah, and it having a lot of problems. But as I told you, so some of the food parcels was giving to the some parties without any registration. Some of the people in the area, not the people that we have intervention inside it, they was coming, and some of the warehouse managers or warehouse guard, they was giving some food parcels, for example. Our wash things like water, our soaps and tanks and these type of things. So in the end, what I'm talking about, maybe, yeah, there is a need, maybe sometimes bigger than what you expected, or bigger what you are planning, or bigger than what you have asked for donation for or fund for it, but you cannot manage 100%. You cannot give achievement 100%. If you are a real manager, you will think to above that, but on the end, you will achieve it, you will give to the people, but there's a double problem will happen. So you will give yourself a space of an error. Okay, because why we said that, and Hand know what I'm talking about. When you are putting a budget, when you are putting a plan in front of the donor, you should be a good planner. You should know what you are planning for, because if you put a budget above what you are need, you will have a remaining, and there's a lot of problem will happen. Okay, so this is important that you plan it accurately, and always give yourself a space in time, in achievement, in money, in everything. Like if you find out that the bar of soaps is cost $1, for example, in the budget, put it, give a 10% plus, maybe there's a distribution fees, maybe the vendor will ask more, whatever. But 10 or less is okay, but when you are giving 25% or 30%, you will fall down by the total, and you will fall down, and they will say, sometimes they call it in international NGOs or international humanitarian work, it is a dark point in the history of the organization. They don't have a good planning. They did not spend what they asked for. Okay, and if you spend above that, you will pay it from your pocket. Okay, remember that. But if you spend less than 10% or 15%, depend on what the donor you are dealing with, it's okay. Okay, remember that. So all of the project have input and output, surely, because there is an activity. You should do it by something. Okay, by phone, you'll bring your phone and calling the people, and there's output after the call. That eventually every project in the world have an output and an input. Okay, but most of them have process evaluation, and I will ask you a question about, after this slide. Okay, some of them have an outcome which is a small impact of change, something change in the people. Like for example, اكو محاضرات تنمية، أنا ما أنطي محاضرات تنمية، مو أنا رجال technical. There is a development trainings, for example, and after that, did you gain this skill, for example, or not? So if not, there's no outcome. You got trained, okay, this is output. But outcome is what happened to you. What is the change that occurred to the person after the intervention, after the activity? Gaining a new skill, gaining a new knowledge, applying the new skill to the people, for example, or to the beneficiaries. Okay. So remember that. Few have an impact monitoring and evaluation. So impact, as we said, it is occurred in bigger project. So before this question, my question here, there is something called RTE, real-time evaluation. Okay, we said evaluation will happen after the project. So if you remember our example, I said this example maybe will cover everything in a minute. So if you remember our example, and we said there's a deviation and we fix it and it's having okay, but what is the point that we done the RTE, which is real-time evaluation process? I will start one by one and will tell me when the RTE happened. Okay. Starting by Amna.
Can you repeat your question, please?
Okay, we have our example, the previous example, which was on the whiteboard, and we said we will distribute the number of the food parcel to the people, and my staff was struggling to achieve it.
Yes.
And after that, they got on the track and they achieve it. So there is something called RTE, real-time evaluation. When
Yes.
we did that, in your point of view?
I think we do that at the end of the project.
Okay.
We have to evaluate the project after monitoring.
No, this is not evaluation. This is RTE, real-time evaluation. Think about it.
And so it's different from evaluation.
Totally different.
Then I don't know, actually.
Okay, thank you. Hind, please go ahead.
I think when we evaluate the implementation itself, when we evaluate the implementation work. So let's say it depends, but sometimes actually it depends on the organization. I'll give you an example as when every week there is a report come from the field staff to the project manager.
Okay.
Usually we have a meeting with finance, monitoring, evaluations, and the project manager himself with the attending of the program manager to evaluating the implementation regarding what we already implement on the ground and also the financial implementations. By that, we have some kind of a summary or summary notes that we are sending usually to the field staff and also to the finance staff as well. So I believe this is the time that we evaluate the implementing work and we send the feedback to update our plan.
Okay, one second.
Yeah.
Evaluation mean you will do a research, social research or any type of research to understand what happened from something, let's say, for example, from the impact, from the outcome. So, okay, you are doing it by evaluating the numbers of the output of your staff.
Yes.
But
so you meant the evaluating the impact itself, let's say, or the outcome.
RTE is something, there's an evaluation, you will need it inside the project, which is you will do your own research. For example, you check the risk, maybe, for example, you do a research about that, you will check, you will sit with them and ask them, okay, what happened, why that happened, for example. So this is, let's say we can call it an RTE. So what do you think, in which point we done the RTE process or the evaluation process inside the project? In which point? The first point that we saw the numbers, or the point that we sit with them, or the end point, which is we was having a great achievement from our staff?
No, actually, the first time we have the number, we have to make when we get the number from the field staff, we have to make our research as a management then we will get back to them. So the results from the result for this RTE will send when the management gonna hold a meeting and send the feedback to the field staff. So it will be during the implementation itself, at least within, if we say that the field staff sending the report within every week, so within the next week, definitely we have to send the feedback to them.
Okay, thank you. Well done. Okay, Mr. Omar.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yes. For the real-time evaluation, I would say, like in my opinion, we do it within every process, like within every step. Like we would evaluate during the process, like during the project itself. Yeah. So, like step by step.
So you mean that
Hmm.
on the start point, we will start with the RTE. Am I
Not
correct?
from the no. After the start, during the project.
During the project.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, during the implementation. So in
Yes.
our example,
Mm-hmm.
we was have a 3 break point. The point that we saw the numbers, you can
Yes.
evaluate the numbers, for example. The point that we sit with them, we can evaluate the situation. The
Yeah,
point
every
that they
step.
get changed, we can
Mhm.
evaluate the change. So which one of these three is the RTE happened in our example?
I would say when we sit with them. Yeah.
When we sit with them. Okay, thank you. Saja, please go ahead. You have a good mic today.
Yeah, thank you. I think the real-time evaluation is happened with each activity that we put it in our schedule. We must do matching the objective or the activity with the outcomes. If they are matching or they demanded what we need, we make real evaluation. Or we can do it in these cases according to our question the last time when the funder decide to make cut off of the funding, we must to make real time evaluation in this case to compress our activity, to manage the situation, to find another solution, to
Okay.
see what if we can catch to finish the project during this period time that we decide to make it.
Okay.
So according to the 3 points you said, I think I will choose the 3 when changing has happened on the project. That suddenly happened. We can imagine what happened, the next step.
Okay.
We must to make a
So
critical
on the
situation.
third point.
Third point, yes,
Okay,
thank you.
Well done. Salar, Birmingham.
Okay. I think it's depends on the project, but the real-time evaluation, I think it's on the result that we get from the monitoring data.
You remember our example, brother? What we said, our staff doesn't do anything well in the field. They
Yes.
wasn't distribute very well. You remember the numbers, 200, 400, and etc. So we came, let's say, on the first month or on the second month, and we surprised by the numbers. So we evaluate the numbers, this is a process. And we sit with them. This is a process, which is checking, evaluating the situation. And after that, what happened? There's a change happened. And they came from the deviation to uprising their numbers and their trend to, let's say, on the right track. So in which point in our example, the RTE happens?
I think when they're meeting the staff, at the meeting with staff.
Okay.
After that, they evaluate the result that they got it from the field.
Okay.
And the change happened after that.
Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so yeah. RTE mean real-time evaluation. Let's remember, if we talk about evaluation in HR, evaluation mean that I will evaluate my staff depend on their behavior, depend on their attitude, depend on their performance, for example, and depend on the type of the evaluation. Okay, there is a quarterly evaluation, there is a yearly evaluation, sometimes they call it appraisal, which is maybe you get promoted after it, and etc. In monitoring and evaluation, and in program management and project management, evaluation means, I want you to change this idea about evaluation. I was look like everyone when I was reading evaluation. Okay, evaluation mean I evaluate, أنا أقيم الأمور. Okay, that is evaluation. No, evaluation is a study. Okay, رحنا انطينا التدريب. أروح أقعد وياهم. I will sit with them. I will question them. I will check, I will research, and after that I will get result. If they got benefit from the training, if they got benefit from the food, for example. So I should do a research, and that research will show that output give us an outcome. Okay. RTE is also a research, but it is happening under the project, which is any evaluation you do in the project, in time of the project. For example, the period of the implementation, we call it an RTE. But in our example, there should be some RTE happened. And let's say like that. We saw the number, we evaluate the numbers, but you cannot call this evaluation in M&E terms. And focus on every word I'm talking. M&E word, when you are checking the number, that you cannot call it evaluation. After that, when you sit with them and you check their talk and you research about it, maybe our meeting is called a research because I'm hearing from you what happened. For example, did you get any benefit from the training, for example? So this is evaluation of what happened. Maybe I will check his knowledge right now. I will ask you. So this is evaluation about what happened. So in the meeting also, that is RTE when we done our meeting with them, because we was checking about the area. Okay. Did the people deal with you good? If there is any conflict between this organization and the people, for example, or between the staff, and for example, one of the team that I managed, they was not moving in, let's say, from Salah ad-Din to Mosul, there is a road, a big road, and there's other road which is a shortcut or anything you can call it. So they was moving not in the, let's say, the main road, because they have a issue with al-Hashish checkpoint, because they fight with them and the other things happened. So the checking of the information, the research of the information to check if the objective done it work. This is a perfume. When I put it, this is activity, and this is an input. I put it here. So I put the perfume in my neck, for example. So one perfume got sprayed on my neck. Very simple. But did the perfume give us a good smell? The result, okay, of that. Did they gain a new skill? Okay, so when we sit with them, we said PESTEL, political, economical, security, technology, environment, and legal risk. So these type of risk may be happened. So how I know this type of risk happened? In my research, in my calling, in my sitting, in these type of things, which is, they call it not evaluation, they call it real-time evaluation. And that happened in midterm of the project, maybe on the first month when the project happened, okay, or second month. So you have to check what's happening in the field. So sometimes, for example, if you are going to the field, you are going to check your stuff. You also will go and talk with the people. Did you receive our aid, for example? Sometimes I'm doing it. And I saw, I told you a lot of problem happening sometimes between the field staff. With my respect, there's a lot of brilliant field staff, and there are some people, I cannot talk about them. Yeah, so the idea, when you sit with people, when you hear from them, which is, this is a research, but it is variable research, not a written research. You are hearing what happening, what change happened after your aid giving to them or give to them. So this is the second point, that the RTE happened. RTE, real-time evaluation, happened inside the project. Remember that. When you say evaluation, the word evaluation, so mainly when I'm asking the staff and who was working in M&E, they think they are working on E and M, but 90% of them, they only work on M. As we said, E will happen with the outcomes or the impacts. So also, and they will not do the evaluation. Consultant or someone from the HQ will do the evaluation. Okay, so in a quick answer, I need your answers about this question to continue to our lecture. So starting by Amna, what was your answer for this question? Amna, did you hear me? Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes, I hear you.
Please go ahead.
It depends on the organization. If the organization was capable of funding itself, then it will proceed its work in the project without any changes, as long as the project manager or the project program is financing the M&E team. But if the organization depending on the donor funds, then the project manager should reschedule the remaining financial budget and adapt to the new project plan, for example, by reducing the number of beneficiaries and staff, and complete the program in the remaining time period.
Thank you. Hende, please go ahead.
First, this question, is it about like the implementing partner doing something wrong, that's why the donor did that, or no? Or just like it's
maybe the donor
changing?
got broke, for example.
Sorry?
Maybe the donor got broke.
Ah, okay.
Tell us.
So,
yeah.
So in that case, there is no mistake from the implementing partner. By that, definitely the monitoring and evaluation plan will be changed totally. First, we will be lose as implementing partner, definitely, because usually the implementing partner, when they start implement for the second year, he will continue to implement the project regardless if the donor, let's say, continue to send the fund or not. Usually in this case, at the end, the implementing partner should pay something from his own pocket to close all the, let's say, the planning activity that should be done within this year, let's say. So definitely we will have reduced the staff. We will have reduced the expenditures in total.
Yeah, but we are talking about the plan, the M&E plan. What the change inside the M&E plan? M&E plan, you will not mention anything in budget.
Yes, so reduce staff first, cancel many activities.
Cancel many activities, correct. Continue. Because we said that will contain activities or objectives, the people who will be responsible for the time and these type of things inside the M&E plan. Responsible person, the people you are reporting to.
Yes, that's mean, as I said, we reduce the staff, definitely. We will cancel activities. I think this is what it's come now to my mind.
Yeah, okay, let's keep it like that. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Omar, please go ahead. Proceed with what you think.
Okay, I will. Okay, the best way to do this will be to continue the process of monitoring and evaluating what was already completed. This is done by cutting down the new activities for the program, like making them less, which will be, in a way, helping the cost.
Okay. So you will reduce the stuff, you will cut down from the
Yes.
activities, or what
Yeah.
change you will have?
Sorry?
What change you will have exactly in the M&E plan?
I mean, in this case, this will be more like a plan B in this case. Like, the project will continue, or the whole process, sorry, will continue the way it is. But the problem is it will be more time consuming.
Okay.
That's the problem.
So you will make change also in the time for your timetable
Yes.
on the time planning.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Omar. Let's go with Cecilia. Please go ahead.
Yes, I think we can attempt to expect the completion of the project with what
Okay.
we can be accomplished with 2 years by squeezing the amount, or we can cancel that is not very main necessary items or paragraphs that we can.
Okay.
And we following up monitoring and evaluation, getting rid of the paragraph that we can replace it, and preserving the basic paragraph or was possibilities. I think the other solution, if we have real-time evaluation, we can find another donor. He can continue and he accept to finish this project with us. But if we can't find another donor, we must must to maybe terminate or reduce the number of staff, or we can cancel so many items maybe we don't need it necessary and not affect on the project vision at the same time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot. Salat.
Okay. I think it's continuing the monitoring and evaluation of the project
Okay.
for what has been finished previously. And for future, they will reduce or suspend the new activities that they need to implement. And the other thing, when they want to do the activities, it must be appropriate with their budget or their internal resource. Okay. So most of the activities will suspend, I think, until they get
suspended. Okay.
And also they will decrease the number of
or
staff.
Postponed.
Suspended. تعليق.
Yeah, I know. Suspended, you can remove it. Okay. So yeah, please continue.
Until they found another donor or they stop the project. So this is my thing.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So Sajja, please go ahead.
I have another idea. If that's possible, to make to find another doors to get the money to finance the project for the next year, maybe make a charity party, or maybe advertising, or for donation or something like that.
Yeah, you can do a fundraising party for a Galala party or something like that. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So there is two main missing things that you did not think about. Okay, guys, please read it again. So if funding for your case study program, so you have a case study, for example, you are a consultant, was cut off and the program closed. So you are a child of a parent program. So what you are mainly a vendor. That's one thing. Maybe it is changed, maybe you are a staff and you have a case study under the umbrella of the project. That's one thing to keep in your mind. Second thing, which is also important, what I ask about, it is a protection program. So in protection program, you know, context is changing, but in protection program, mainly 90% of the actors in the world, they complete their task or their target in the first year or second year, which is, they call it CYP, couple years protection. And that indicator of many protection projects that in 2 years term of any protection project, it should be achieved what you working on. What is your target working on? So you will put this criteria for you, CYB, which is couple years protection. You should create the change that you are intending to do. Okay, so mainly, if we have a M&E plan contain activities, people who are responsible for the project, people who will report maybe how you will gather the data, or you talk to the people, what is maybe your activity, or maybe you'll put your objectives, but mainly we put the key objective inside the plan. Okay, so activity will be cut off, or in CYB indicators, you already done your main activities. Just for example, the training sessions, the books that you wanted to be distributed, the brochures and everything. You should print it from the starting of the project. Okay, so in case that you are a vendor, you should already completed your case study, or it will not create any effect after the 2 years of CYB. In case that you are a program and the protection program also the same, your main activity is already done. That what we talk about, if you remember about the structured, what that mean. You will find out in the humanitarian work, there is something like BSS, for example, in CB, which is child protection. BSS, which is psychosocial support. Psychosocial support is, yani, forget about the big names and psychosocial support. You will give it trainings or education, darudur, and these simple stuff, maybe some games to the child, okay? But you will give it mainly randomly, ashwa'iyya. Just focus on that. But if we put SBSS, structured BSS, structured MHBSS, mental health psychosocial support, what you will do? نفس المحاضرات من عندك جدول، راح تعطيهم المحاضرة الفلانية بهالساعة، المحاضرة الفلانية بهالساعة، أو تتبنى أو you will adapt a program from some organization like مثلا Ideal, which is for child. If we are talking about JVV, also there is structured JVV work that you do your session or your work on structure, but mainly, for example, if our protection is, we want to reduce نسبة الحمل ببلد معين. For example, this is just in my mind يعني. So, in our work, if it is 10 years protection program, 5 years protection program, on the first couple years, you will do your main objective, which is, let's say, train the people how to get less child. Let's say 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 child will be enough for them, for example. And you will give them the purpose of you're done your purpose from your program. So remember CYP indicator. This is for the protection. Also, not a lot of people know about that, but if you are working in a lot of protection program, you will get involved in these type of things, and you will understand that protection program, maybe they can achieve their work in a couple years. That as max, for example. Other cases, it is different, okay? So the changes will be in the activity, in the timeline, and in a lot of things. In the plan, all the plan will be changed because you will cut off your work. If it is not a protection program and you want to continue, you can do a fundraising What fundraising mean? That you will ask for fund for your idea, and when you find the people that interested in your idea, maybe a corporate or maybe a donor or GA government agency, you will do them a concept note or a proposal, and after that you will get money to fund your idea. So now we talk about something important. Okay. Before I say anything, raise your hand if you know these terms. CHS. من يعرف هذا المصطلح؟ اوكي. ما حد رفع ايده لحد الان. CHS mean Core Humanitarian Standards. And what that mean? We'll start from here. I think so many of you read this before. أولاً, first, impartiality. What that mean? Omar, please go ahead and translate for us.
Yes. A structured approach with the CHS.
Talking about this one.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
There. Okay, can you please increase it? I can hardly read the font.
Impartiality.
Impartiality.
Yeah.
I mean, in this case, I don't know, to be honest.
Okay, it is very easy. الأحزاب أو الجماعات يسموهم parties or party.
Oh, parties. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
the political parties.
I should not be involved in any parties. Okay. Very easy. Second one, please hand read it to me. This one. And did you hear me? You hear me? That can you read this one? أعتقد ماذا تسمعنا؟ Okay. Sajja, please read this one.
In neutrality, I think is the neutrality. Sorry, I think is you must be neutral for one directly, not to be with the side on account on another side. You must to just implement your vision, your organization vision, and your own principle. Don't be with other side for account to another side. I think this.
Okay, so neutral mean I'm neutral. I don't have to be with one side to another. Keep it in that your mind. This is the four main CHS. A lot of organizations, they put the CHS in the front of their door. So the third one, please, Amna, read it.
Actually, I can't see it clearly.
يعني ما أعرف أكو zoom. Zooming to you or not?
Yes.
Okay. If you can see it, then I will say it. Okay.
Independence.
Yes.
Yes.
Independence.
Independence. Yes.
Okay.
استقلالية.
Yes.
مستقل.
Yeah, you should be independent as a humanitarian worker.
Yes.
Okay. Fourth one, which is the humanity. Okay. That obvious. Insania. So, for example, if you have two parties are fighting together and you are coming you can help this one and the other one because they are all human, no matter what they are thinking, what their ideology, whatever, what they are. When you're working in a humanitarian sector, no one better than other. We are all same. This is the most thing I learned from humanitarian work, that we are all the same. No nationality is different, no religion is different, nothing is different. We are all human on this earth, and we should help one another. That standards, you should keep it in your mind. Impartiality, neutrality, independence, and humanity. So these 4 core values will give us the 9 values. And this is important because what we said, we will talk about the accountability and learning. Maybe our lecture will get more time, guys. So stay with me. I'm sorry, maybe it will be above the time. So just to stay with me, it is important information for all of you. So let's start by here. So first of all, humanitarian response is appropriate and relevant. And what that means, when I'm responding, well, مشكلة يعني, sorry. Some of humanitarian, they not to do that, but it's okay. Yeah. So if the people need water, I'll bring them water. يعني one organization I saw, they do a conflict or peace building inside Koya, which is Koya, a peace people. يعني so okay, you'll find a lot of people who's not يعني مو يم الموضوع أصلاً. they يسوون برامج مو يم الموضوع أصلاً. يعني كويا شبيهة, هي قرية وناس فقراء وناس. For example, social cohesion and مدري شنو $3 million. يعني imagine. Okay, so response is appropriate and relevant. Okay, يعني your organization will مثلا bring water, bring food, bring whatever they are bringing, so it should be relevant what they are working on. Second, humanitarian response is effectively and timely. So when you are coming in effective way, our effective work, يعني, for example, if we are in emergency, you should not bring a development project because the need is different. Okay, so it is on timely basis. The time is very important in humanitarian work. Humanitarian response to train local capacity and avoid negative effect. Yeah, sure, because okay, if you came to a lot of regions before, let's say, the international humanitarian came, for example, the mentality is different. Yani me and some staff was working with the USID before 2010 and etc. And a lot of the people here have so many years of experience. But right now, for example, there's a lot of organizations are working. There's a lot of change in the mentality, in the approach, in the way that the people are doing. Some of people are getting more positivity and these type of things. So humanitarian work should raise these type of values. Okay, humanitarian response, هذا أريدكم تحطون جوا ألف خط. Okay. I want to hear okay from everybody. Write it down. Humanitarian response is based on communication, participation, and feedback. Communication, participation, feedback. Okay. This is, you know, the word A in meal, accountability. And this point only that we are gathering everything about the accountability and the next point. Okay. So communication, participation, and feedback. Communication with whom? Okay, we are the organization, but with whom? With the beneficiaries. Let them participate on the decision, and that is learning. Okay, how that happened? Okay, I bring this perfume. يعني اليوم هو كله على العطر. هو شو بربر الجديد حلو الفكرة مالته. Okay, so I bring this perfume, but they not use it for the purpose they are used to for example. So I should learn from them. Okay, how I learn from them, I will hear from them. And after that, in my next programming, in my same program right now, I will make the change to let the people use it in the correct way, for example. Yani I bring a water jerry can and they use it for kerosene, for example. Okay. I cannot tell everyone you should use it for water. I should bring, let's say, a jerry can that their purpose is only on holding the kerosene, maybe plastic, maybe iron or whatever their materials. Okay, so I should learn from the people. But how I learned from my accountability part. What is accountability? We'll talk about that. But before we talk about the accountability, we'll talk about the theory of change. Okay, remember these type of things. So communication, participation, feedback. Communication, participation, feedback. Keep this 3 point near of you always. Compliant are welcomed and addressed. So الشكاوي. يعني you see in my group منتظر رسول training يعني he's from another governorate and they did not accept him for this type of things. I read it, maybe he wrote it before 2 days or today, I don't remember. So how the people will reach or talk with the program manager or the county director or the other people? There should be a boxes, there should be a phone, there should be anything that the people can reach you. Maybe some of your staff, and hear this, a lot of staff in international organization after ISIS, they use the humanitarian aid to do their dirty work, like abusing ladies, like harassment, like raping, like doing a lot of wrong things. Okay, cash for work or cash programs, we will give you the cash, but you will give us another thing. And that happened a lot. Okay, now you must hear from people because your staff is not holy. مو مقدسين. Okay, and why that happened? Because I have the authority that your need in my hand. Okay, for me, يعني, I wish to help everyone. I don't care about this type of dirty thing, but the authority mean that your need in my hand. Okay, so I will ask you for something instead of that. And I heard a story from someone who was working in humanitarian work. اسمعوا هاي بس احكيها بالعربي لان شوي ترجمتها هوسه. اول ما استلم الفلوس بال 2014 قام يبوس بالفلوس وشو يقول؟ هاي بصحة النازحين، هاي بصحة اهل الموصل، هاي بصحة ما ادري شنو، مستهزئ بالنازحين ومستهزئ بالناس كلها. والله اني international humanitarian worker. No, you are not only reach to the word of a human. اذا انت هيك تتعامل ويا الناس وانت هيك ما مقدر الناس. Okay, so a lot of things happened. بس كل ما تتقدم always on the progress of a humanitarian work, there's a lot of regulation. كل regulation certain that you are seeing in finance that happened from a story. That happened from a story. We need a bank for companies. That happened in front of me, and they put this regulation because they was bringing a fake organization to be as a vendors. And senior investigation officer came from Geneva to Iraq to see that happen in front of them, and they put the solution as you bring companies with bank account because normal companies, they don't have a bank, the fake companies, they don't have a bank account. That's one thing. A lot of regulation, step by step, everything you see when the auditor came, everything they asked, it happened by a story from someone done wrong, for example. Okay, so we see a lot of regulation. The banks right now, they did not accept, for example, you send to another organization because some organization I know, and I'm telling you from experience, not telling you from stories that I heard. Some organization that was dealing with, let's say, forbidden countries. So the forbidden countries, they send it to another country will send it to another country, and they will send it back to this country. which is the operating country. So there is a lot of regulation happening in humanitarian work because what the problem happened. Okay, so yeah, as you said, it is that terrible. So this is the idea here. So yani, if everyone put these terms inside his heart, he will work good. Okay. So humanitarian response is coordinated and complementary. Yeah. Never been humanitarian work yeah that يعني أنا أنطيك شيء مقابل شيء. منسق. How we coordinate it? How we coordinate it? By clusters. We read about clusters. Humanitarian experts continuously learn and improve. As what I saying, from any problem happened, there is improvement. Okay. We learn from our past mistake. Staff are supported to do their job effectively and are treated fairly and yeah. People are equal, even if they are staff or different beneficiaries. You are good with beneficiaries, but you are bad with your staff. إن الله لا يصلح ما بقوم حتى يصلحوا ما بأنفسهم. If your house is not good, how you deal with people and you told them that you should be good. Okay, so resources are managed and used responsibly for their intended purpose. Yes, please. This is the humanitarian work, not something fancy to deal with. Okay, let's jump to the theory of change. We will take a little time more than that, the lecture. So I'm sorry, guys, but it is all for your benefit. I can make it for other day, but I want you to by sequence. Okay, so theory of change. A comprehensive and visual description of how and why desired change is expected to happen. So when I'm talking about theory of change, نظرية التغيير, in which part do you think theory of change happen? An output, an activity, an input, an outcome, and an impact. What do you think, guys? You can write it down. Yeah, impact. Maybe outcome. But do you think it is an output? Okay. Theory of change, a comprehensive and visual description of how and why desired change is expected to happen. So when we sit together and do our, let's say, talk about the planning our project, what we will talk about. Okay, my idea is to create a change. How to create the change to do this activity and this output. We will train 500 people to let them have this new skill so they gain a new work and they have a change in their behavior. Okay, so the time that change happen, it is the theory of change. How and why, how they will change and why they will change by getting our program or project. We will see it next. So focus on this one. نظرية التغيير كلش مهمة يعني لازم you get understand it يعني كلش important يعني guys. Yeah. If you remember that IR or the output, which is it was the strategies, strategic objective, which is SO and goal, which is we can call this outcome, and we can call this impact. Okay, this is the RF, which is a result framework, and you can call it RFA, which is a result framework approach. So precondition, and output and intermediate result. But مجال التغيير or domain of change, it will be happen where? بالstrategic objective, بالSO, بالاوتcome. In SO, in outcome, it will happen. And your assumption, which is long term, that okay, the people will deal with other people in good way, and they will get a new job, and دخل مالتهم يتحسن, and everything will going well with them. So this is your assumption in your planning. So when it said long term, this is the way of theory change. So the best way here is happen. إذا ماكو ذني ماكو هذا. إذا ما يتدربون, they not get training, they will not reach to the objective. Okay. So the precondition يعني الحالة اللي قبلها إنه أنت لازم محقق هالشيء if and then if you complete your output and your intermediate result, you will get a change. And the change, if it is happen long term, it will be for your goal if it is an impact. If it is a small one, which is outcome, it will be here in the outcome, which is that we call a theory of change. It is very easy that you make the assumption about what will change. Okay, and this is the path for it, الطريق لها. And if you see here, you remember we study RA and LF, and now we are talking about TOC. So, ما about the intent long-term change. We are sitting and we said, okay, أنا أريد الناس تشبع بالموصل. أو لا أخذت تشبع ببغداد، sorry. with respect to الموصل. كل الناس شبعانة إن شاء الله بالعراق. بس I'm talking about خلينا نقول إنه you are needing خلينا نقول إنه you are talking about the project. I need the people inside Sudan to be get خلينا نقول يشبعون. So this is my long achievement خلينا نسميها. Intended long term. Major pathway of change. So there is a طريق, there's a path to lead that change. So there's a condition should be happen. They should eat the food, receive the they got the food, they receive it, they eat it. They have enough food, and after that the change will happen. For example, their health status will be good. Underlying assumption which is انه انت تتصور انه هالشيء راح يصير. انت رأسة احنا بتفكيرنا رأسة نقول اوكي هاي الفكرة راح تصير. This idea will happen. So how it will happen? By TOC. Contribution from non-project stakeholders that are needed for change to occur. Yes, sure. لأن انت اليوم اذا اليوم احنا قاعدين هسه اليوم انتم بقيتوا 7 اشخاص انتم جايين تتعلمون مهارة جديدة، معلومة جديدة، ممكن سطر واحد. أنا دائما أقولها، أنا ماخذ شهادات عجيبة غريبة IoT مدري شنو information of Internet of Things وغيره، بس لا I'm not about Internet of Things. I'm thinking about maybe one line could change my life. This is خلينا نقول هو هذا العلم. Okay, so if the people in front of me ما يريد يتعلم ما راح يصير change. So if there is no participation from non-project staff, there will not be a change. After that, we will go to the result framework built on theory of change. Okay. هيكل المشروع, hierarchy of the project objective. So objective by objective to reach the overall outcome or to reach the overall impact. So I'm talking about result. The result is output, and after that IR, and after that SO, and after that goal. IR intermediate result, and after that we are talking about strategic objective, and after that to the goal, for example. So casual logic of the project that organize the project result into series of if then. اللي يشتغل حاسبات او اللي يشتغل هالامور هاي يعرف if then. Logical. Okay. If they got trained, they will gain the new skill. If they not, they will not get it. Okay. So after that, which is the LFA, which is overall built on theory of change and result framework by mapping out high-level meal framework, including indicators and mean of verification. Mean of verification, الطرق التأكيد إنه هم سووا هالشيء أو استلموا هالشيء. Assumption that need to be in a place for casual logic to hold true. Okay. TOC, RFA, LFA. TOC, RFA, LFA. LFA is bigger. طبعا LFA logical framework is developed by USID in 2000 قصدي بال 1970 1970, and it's adopted by a lot of organizations, but other organizations are adopting the BCM approach, which is I think by EU in 19 بالثمانينات او بدايه التسعينات تقريبا هذا كان الحكي. اوكي سو هذا اكزامبل على التشينج اللي يصير بكل بساطه. ركزوا وياي، عوفوا الهوسه اللي تشوفها، just focus on that. Okay, so we are talking about a river and water and wash project. يعني I will give example to make it more understandable. Okay, so this is the activities. Agriculture user groups established. So when الجروبات we done our groups. Agriculture use of water increased. Okay, جبنا لهم مية. Access to loan increased. We open more branches to give loans. Marketing skills improved. Nutrition surveillance system established, etc. So this is the preconditions. Each two of them, maybe 3 of them, 5 of them, 10 of them will give you to the IR, which is intermediate result. Agriculture production, الإنتاج الزراعي خلال النازحين تحسن. Improved. Okay, شلون improved؟ We done groups، جبنا لهم مي، and الزراعة خلينا نقول الإنتاج الزراعي تحسن. Okay. Remember, activities that the things that you will do. Output is the result, the direct result. How many people got trained? Outcome, what happened from the training? What the training done? Okay. New behavior, new thinking. So here, we done the groups, we bring the water, and after the water, what happened? An increase in the production, improved. And incoming generation activity among IDB. So now we have a production, إنتاج, now صار عندهم فلوس. Okay. ركز هنا. These two will guide us to this one, which is SO Maltec, strategic objective, improved IDB participation in agriculture, production and income generation activity. يعني هسه قاموا يقدرون يشاركون يطورون الزراعة وعندهم فلوس ويقدرون يجيهم دخل كامل. احنا انطيناهم فلوس عمود يزرعون، جبنا لهم المي، فتحنا لهم قروض، هسه يقوم يزرع. اوكي زين. nutrition هنا سوينا لهم proof. decrease in incidence of waterborne disease، قللنا الامراض، we reduce the disease, and after that this is the overall improve livelihood of internal displaced person in Delta River region. احنا شهدنا الفرص الحياتيه، الناس قامت تشتغل، جاها دخل، الغذاء قام يتوفر، قللنا الامراض، هسه تحسنت الوضعيه مالتهم. اوكي زين. هنا هاي conditions. اوكي هنا التشينج صار. You bring the water. But after the water, how many things that how many river you opened? This is output. But after that, this is here the domain of change. مجال التغيير. مجال التغيير يقودك للتغيير. مجال التغيير يقودك للتغيير. The domain of change will lead you to change. Okay. I think we will go to the last slide and we will talk the day after tomorrow. We will talk about accountability and we will complete it the day after tomorrow. And yes, so accountability. I will say it in Arabic and English. Nadine is not here, but maybe she will need it in English. Yeah. So yeah, commitment to balance and respond to the need of all stakeholders. commitment للالتزام، للمساواة أو لاتزان والإجابة لكل الناس اللي داير ما يدورك. من هم الداير ما يدورك؟ الشركاء الداير ما يدورك. Who's your stakeholders? Project participant, beneficiaries, donors, partners, organization itself. Okay, let's wait here. ما أطلع منها اليوم إلا تفتهمها. accountability المحاسبة. شايفين بالدوار عندنا ناس مال متابعة، يروح يتابع وما أدري شنو، يروح يسأل بالفيلد، يسأل الناس ويشيك وما أدري شنو، خابص روحه رئيس المتابعة أو المشرف العام أو ما أدري شنو. سوري. Yes, this is the accountability. المسؤولية. Okay. What is المسؤولية؟ إنه أنت تكون بالنص. In front of you, the beneficiary. Behind you, the donor. Near of you is the partner, implementation partner, for example. With you is your organization staff. Okay. So what does that mean? يعني, when we are going to field, maybe one of my staff is bad person or have a bad influence. So I check with the beneficiaries to hear from them. المستفيد يعني خارج أمره، ما عنده الحرية أو الحق إنه يتكلم. ليش؟ هاي أكو كتاب اسمه The Power of Focus if someone read it. يعني أكو word حلوة بس هي مو حلوة أو مو حلوة، وإنما فيها idea الword هاي. Poor families when they raise their kids, okay, دائما يخليهم ممنونين. مو بس ممنون، they think they not deserve it. When you give them, let's say, a book, they think they not deserve it. But rich families, they raise their children or their child to let them think that they deserve everything in the world. And they can have everything in the world. So when you give to someone from a poor background, this one, thank you a lot, thank you. I can't imagine that you are giving to me. Oh, I appreciate it. هذا أدب حلو. Okay, rich kid or rich families, when you give them, okay. For example, maybe thank you only. Because they know they deserve it. مفهوم هنا we are not احنا دائما everyone is equal, but we are talking about mindset. On mindset, you can deserve anything in the world. You are a human, you raised here, and the God create you. So keep that in your mind. ماكو واحد أحسن من واحد إلا بالعلم، بالمهارات، بالسلوك، بالتصرف، بالشخصية، character, attitude, behavior, morals, standards. These are the things that you can change the people. Maybe that them better than other, but we are all the same. We are human. So when you are coming to IDBs, for example, and then when they see a bad person inside your organization, but they cannot say anything. مثلا مدير برامج, program manager, or the people who's in charge, they are not visiting the field. That is why we always ask the people to go, the management, the staff, let's say the project managers, to go and see the field. They must hear from people. They must hear from people again. What we said, the 3 point, you remember it? Communication, feedback, and what? I will ask you to give it to me. The 3 point. Communication, feedback, and what?
Participation.
Participation. Well done, brother. Participation. They should participate in the project decision, and the changing of the project, which is the learning cycle or lesson learned. And this should be a box or something to hear from people. So accountability is the responsibility in front of the donor, in front of the beneficiary, in front of the organization itself. So some organization, they bring the accountability officer, and they not make meal. Accountability officer, they put them in a whole room only, and they are sitting alone, يعني, because they are very important. لأن هم العين مالتنا إنه إحنا بدنا نشتغل صح ولا. Okay, so the people, why I said rich or poor example. So the people right now, for example, as an ITB, they don't have, let's say, income or whatever. So whatever you give to them, they will be ممنونين كلش, even if you are dealing with them badly. Also, some other people, they think they are sent from God. So they are dealing with people that are bigger and best and better than them. This is totally wrong. Okay. Remember, we are all the same. Keep that in your mind. If you wanted to think internationally, we are all the same. If someone deserves the job, I'm always saying that. From any nationality, from any religion, you should hire them. This is an HR. In humanity, in accountability, you should hear from everyone. You should be responsible in front of the donor, partners, your implementation partners. Hear from them. You are not isolated. ما معزول أنت. Hear from what? Beneficiaries. Hear from the staff itself and create the change. Okay. We'll back to this one. I want to show you this one, and we end our lecture. Thank you for I take a lot of your time. Yeah. So this is the response mechanism, and we'll talk about that in deep. Project team, how they can hear from people. خط ساخن, hotline, text, suggestion box. بوكس صغير ما راح تخسر شيء, يحطون بيه اقتراحات للعلم. Before 3 or 4 years or 5 years, a lot of organizations, they don't have these type of things. Very less people. Maybe I remember when I was period with IMC, we was having this type of things, hotline and these type of things. ICRC was happening, DRC was happening, but not all of the organization. They're adopting this type of things before 2 years or 3 years now, from now. Yeah, so help desk, community meetings, community workshop, text and radio. This is the response from the project team. You hear from them by phone call, by text, by suggestion box, by help desk, by community meeting, and you meet with them, you do a workshop, you text them back, and you do a radio program, and have a lot of more things. But remember, accountability is part of CHS, Core Humanitarian Standards. Okay, guys? Okay, guys? So, we should hear from people. And that will benefit us. يعني, a lot of you right now worked before. Maybe there's some bad person, but you don't know about them. You think your staff is good, but you should go and hear from people. If you heard there's something wrong, يقول لك ماكو نار من دخان أو بالعكس يعني, فلازم أكو شيء wrong. وهذا بالend on the result, it will affect your organization reputation. والreputation تعرف انت الreputation السمعة تبنيها بسنوات بثانية تنهد. Okay, guys. So that is for today. Thank you, and thank you for your time. Have a great evening, and let's see you tomorrow for the proposal people, and let's see you the day after tomorrow for the meal people. Have a great day ahead. Thank you a lot.